The Invisible Man 2020. This is already one of the best horror movies of the decade so far. And a main theme of the movie that's explored is technology. And the suit being invisible is created through technology that seems more realistic than other options that the director could have taken, such as getting a potion to turn someone invisible. That's an option they could have taken, but it's interesting that they took on technology, as the director of this movie has been really interested in exploring more about technology and making it a main theme of some of his latest films. It's interesting now with the use of technology, the suit has the ability to become invisible, and it's used throughout the film by the attacker, and the effect it has is that the victim isn't able to see their attacker. It makes us more afraid of what could happen to the victim, so it gives this sense of fear for the audience as well as the victim of the attacker. In this case it's Adrian in the film. One of the main techniques used in the film is the way it builds up horror in the film. Rather than using jump scares, this film uses the facial expressions to show fear, especially in Cecilia. And this can even been shown in the first scene of the movie, the scene when Cecilia's getting away from her attacker by running away. And then we get to the car scene, and in this case her ex breaks the window, so that shows that there's something wrong here, and that we're probably going to be seeing the movie from her point of view, which I find interesting, to see the movie through the victim so we can get a sense what they're feeling throughout the film rather than see the movie from the attacker. So that's actually a good thing that the film does really well. So it makes us feel more afraid, and we're able to emphasize more with Cecilia throughout the film. And yeah, the film uses the invisibility really well to also build up fear. As we've seen in one of the scenes in the kitchen, Cecilia's being attacked, and she's being attacked by what she's not able to see, and the scene looks realistic. And I know that during the production they actually got someone to be attacking Cecilia in the scene, but then they cut it out during the camera scene, so it looks like she is literally fighting against someone that's invisible. So it gives that realistic approach to say that if there really was someone invisible and she was being attacked, that's exactly what it would look like. And another thing I want to mention that's really well is the attacker's methods are smart, and the attacker isn't your typical slasher horror movie attacker where they're always just constantly running after the victim. Now this attacker actually tries to be one step ahead. They don't always try and use violence to cause problems for the victim. They actually try and exploit their weaknesses. In this case, the attacker exploits Cecilia's weakness of her family and friends, especially in two of the scenes in the movie, one of them being killing the sister and then putting the knife in Cecilia's hand to make it look like she did it. And that's really good. Very manipulative method done by the attacker, and it has a good effect as Cecilia's almost driven into madness by it. And then when she goes to her friend's house, the friend that she's been living with, the invisible man slaps the daughter, and it almost makes it look like she did it for the victim. And obviously that leads to her friendship with James. That's almost gone virtually, and that also drives her into more madness as she feels that everyone's against her and no one understands that it's the invisible man that's doing it and not her. So I think that's quite a smart method used by the film. And it all goes back by using the money donation. I mean, at first the senior thinks it's a positive thing, but actually the attacker's using it to eventually cause all those splits that I mentioned, in actually causing her to lose her friends and family. So yeah, the attacker methods are throughout the film smart. And another thing that the film does that it's quite frequently done by the director. It's having twists at the end of the film. You think it would be Adrian in the suit during the face reveal, but instead it's his brother. And I feel like it wasn't too surprising, because there's one scene before where Tom visits Cecilia at the hospital and he reveals that he has been working with his brother. So I'm thinking now that there's a good chance he could be the Invisible Man, a second one. That's what I was thinking, and kinda made me less surprised of it. But yeah, if they didn't have that scene in, I probably might not have seen it coming. But yeah, I think that's a good thing that the film does. It tries to make you think, was it Adrian or was it completely his brother that did it? Although I genuinely believe it was mainly Adrian that was using his brother to victimize Cecilia in that case. As we get to the end of the movie, we see that there's been a change in the characters, in the sense of their position in the movie. I mean, the attacker, in this case it's Adrian, and he's been trying to attack Cecilia from the start of the film. He's been trying to use manipulative methods to try and get her back on his side. He's been basically abusing his victim. But by the end of the film, he's now become the victim of his own methods. And instead, Cecilia's gone from the victim to the murderer by the end of the film. And we see at the end that Cecilia uses a suit to cut Adrian's throat for revenge, basically using the same methods he's used throughout the movie, using it against him. And yeah, that shows that Cecilia's changed from a frightened victim to now a vengeful murderer of her attacker. Whereas Adrian's now gone from the murderer to now the victim. I find quite interesting how that changes all of a sudden by the end of the film. And she almost tells James that it was Adrian that killed himself at the end of the film, but actually she did it. She makes it look like it was a suicide, again using his own methods against him. So what we can learn from the movie is that as a human being, we are afraid of what we can't see. We can't defend ourselves from what we're unable to see, and that gives a sense of fear that what is out there, the unknown, what we can't see, that could be what ends up killing us. But those who carry out abuse can find themselves a victim if they are careless, and in this case, Adrian had left his suit without being locked up, allowing Cecilia to use it to act upon her revenge, using the suit to kill Adrian